Well, Andy, welcome back to tennis and welcome back to the Aegon Championships here at the Queen's Club. How are you feeling? We haven't seen you for a while. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I took probably 8-9 days of full rest where I did nothing really, and obviously, got my back checked out and had scans and saw some doctors and specialists, and basically came up with try and have a good run.
How difficult a decision was it for you to make at the time? I mean, we've just been watching 5 sets of Nadal and Djokovic in the semi-finals. You've been watching in the Players' Lounge. It must be a little strange for you. You've had 6 years of playing every slam, and this time you've had to sit it out.
Yeah, it was a hard decision, but that sort of match is the reason why I wouldn't be playing at the French Open, because I wouldn't be able to compete and at the level that I want to be able to compete at. And it was a really hard decision for me, because I played well in the slams and the big events since Wimbledon last year. I'd made 3 slam finals, and if I would have been able to have had a good run at the French, it's not often you get to compete in 4 slam finals in a row. So that's why it was disappointing for me, because that was a goal of mine. I trained really hard on the clay this year to try and give myself the best chance, and my back just wasn't good enough to be able to compete properly.
Do you think if that had been at this tournament and you'd had that sort of issue for the come up and flare up the way it did, do you think you would have probably tried to play Wimbledon given its stature, or do you think you'd have had to pull that as well?
No, I wouldn't have played. I wouldn't have played Wimbledon. There wasn't enough time to recover. The problem, I had the problem, flare up in Madrid. It was sore. I took basically 3 days off after Madrid, and then I tried to play my match in Rome. After my match, it wasn't like as bad as it's been in Rome, but then the 3 days afterwards it was really bad, so it was the right decision not to play, and I wouldn't have wanted to go play my first match at the French Open and not being able to play the next one.
It's not often you have chance to be at home and do different things, I suppose, especially at this time of year. What have you been doing with yourself? What has it been like?
It's been not that much fun, because the first week or so, I was in and out of hospitals and scans and seeing various specialists, and just driving in and out of central London, most of the time. And then, once I was able to get back on the court and in the gym again, then yeah, I've just been training. I was doing 3.5, 4 hours of rehab every single day as well. So that kind of took priority, because if I didn't use the time wisely, then I could have hurt my back again here or at Wimbledon, and I don't want that to happen again.
What have you been doing to occupy your mind when you haven't been doing rehab? I noticed you've rediscovered Twitter recently.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the French Open as well. I've watched the first week especially, I watched a lot, but then once I had to up my training, I haven't been able to watch as much during the second week. But yeah, I've watched a lot of tennis, watched a lot of other sports, watched a bit of boxing. There was a big fight on a few weeks ago with Froch and Kessler, so I watched that. And yeah, that's been it.
Are you now, having had that few weeks out, are you buzzing to be back and to have a chance to do it again and get back out? And here we are on a court you've had success on before. Does it enhance the sort of thirst to play again?
Yeah, I think when you miss a slam, for me that was really hard, and sometimes it takes a bit of time to be away from something before you realise how much you love it, and kind of you can take that for granted, your health for granted sometimes, and I realised after missing the French that I want to be back out on these courts. I want to be competing for those events, and that's why I've done everything I could to get ready here. But yeah, I can't wait to get back on the match court.
I suppose with Wimbledon on the horizon as well, it doesn't get any bigger than that in terms of motivation, particularly after the memories you had last year, during both the big events at Wimbledon and the Olympics.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always enjoy playing at Wimbledon. I got to play my first final there last year, and it was one of the toughest matches for me to lose. Even though I played a good match, that was a tough one for me. But then, yeah, the Olympics is also, that's an experience I'll never forget. It was one of the best experiences of my life. So, I look forward to going back there. I've spent quite a bit of time there the last year, practiced there a little bit, and just spent time around the place. So, I feel comfortable there, and yeah, can't wait for it to start.
And Ivan's been here with you. I noticed you practicing with Tim Henman yesterday. How is that? Is he still playing all right?
He's going to be playing here in the charity match on Sunday. He's going to be my partner, and yeah, he was volleying well. The rest of the game was not as good as it used to be, and he was fairly out of shape. He was struggling 20-30 minutes into the practice, but yeah, it was good fun to have him on the court.
Thanks, Andy. Good luck.
Should be ready for Sunday now.
I think it's a great serve, the body. It's a great serve, but margin.
Yeah, you miss a little bit. You screw.
And if you're not fast enough, then you're in the strike
fast
zone.
enough.
Well done, man. Thanks, Danny. Good fun.
No, I know I had fun.
Difficult judging that. You've got 8 feet in the so it is easier there. It's easier. That was the warm-up. Everyone in
We moved from Danny and I to you and Andy, and then to Andy and Ricardo.
About 8 foot tall. But doing that type of thing, I feel.
You see the video from